E3, it might be dead. E3 is a staple of the gaming industry. Or maybe it was. Well, we'll get to that in a second here. But E3 is the largest gaming convention typically of the year. Gamers from all around the world would go to LA and they go to that convention center and they'll be able to play games all day long from just about every single manufacturer and studio on the planet. But the past couple years, things have sort of changed, right? Sony has stopped going. Then we have what's happening in the world. And last year, E3 really didn't happen. It was online, and reports are saying that the online version of E3 was a straight dumpster fire. And then we got news today that E3 is going to be virtual again this year. Now, that's not maybe all that surprising because the new variant is floating about and appears to be more contagious than ever before. But here's the tricky part. We're like 5-6 months away from this event happening and they're already canceling it. But there's other events that happen around the same time as E3, like WWDC from Apple. There's Google I/O, Microsoft Build typically happens around that time. And all of a sudden, E3 is the first one to fall away. But once you started to peel back the layers, it sounds like maybe E3 is honestly just a thing of the past, and we might have experienced our last E3. Mike Futter on Twitter is saying, and he is an industry analyst, that this is spin, that I've heard from sources in mid-November before this variant emergence, that at the end of that month, the ESA had abandoned their dates for the Los Angeles Convention Center, meaning in regards to them canceling it because of the new variant, that's just kind of like cover for the fact that it wasn't really going to happen anyway. Now, we don't have explicit information that says, yeah, that's exactly how it was going to play out, but there's been many in the industry who've kind of just wondered, does E3 really need to be a thing anymore? I mean, you look at what Sony did. They pulled up very clearly Sony, Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, all of those big publishers and console companies. They don't need E3. E3 existed in a time prior to effectively like the internet as we know it today as a way to bring everybody together. And it made a lot of sense because getting that much technology in a single location was challenging. But now keynotes can be spun up anywhere, anytime by any type of company. And you don't need a thing like E3 to draw an audience. I mean, we've seen this in other trade shows, not just E3. Look at CES, which is happening sort of this week, but Microsoft pulled out of that many, many years ago for the same reason. Like, it just didn't fit their timeline to announce new product in January, and E3 may not be the timeline that Microsoft needs to launch their products either. Now, I do think there's definitely room in the industry for trade shows. I'm not trying to dump all over those to begin with, because indie developers absolutely need these events. And candidly, they are going to be the ones who are probably hurt most by something like E3 going away, because E3, as we all know, brought a lot of attention and press to one location. But at the end of the day, if the big guys don't show up, that doesn't bring in the people with it, and that doesn't mean the indie developers get the exposure that they need. So, as usual, the small guy is going to be bearing the brunt of E3. We don't officially know if E3 is never happening again, but it does appear that things are definitely changing, and that this year is obviously going online, which even if things do clear out means it's not going to happen in person. And so there you go. I'm just reading a little bit of the tea leaves there, but officially E3 is going online this year. We'll see if it happens next year or what variant it looks like or how it evolves. But a lot of people in the industry, myself included, think this might be the end of E3. And so as we learn more, make sure to keep it subscribed here, because the only BS on this channel is me.